Let's check in with dog culture and see if dog culture follows the rules and intentions that modern society has for a safe workplace for women. So here we are, U.S. Department of Labor blog. So let's have a look at some of the rules and intentions of the rules for women's workplace safety and gender-based violence and harassment. So they want to save women from violence because they say it's based on gender. Okay? So I have a blue highlight here. It says, the General Duty Clause mandates employers to provide employment in a safe place of employment free from recognized hazards that are causing or likely to cause death or serious injury or physical harm. Here's something else that's mentioned here in the blue highlight. The theme for this year's Safe and Sound Week is mental health and well-being and maternal health, which is often overlooked as an area of concern when it comes to occupational health and safety. So they don't want a woman to be compromised while she's pregnant. That makes a lot of sense. That's a very important time. You're building a whole new human, and you want your body and your mind to be in the best shape it can be so your child can have the best chance. So that makes sense to me. Something that they say is important is assessing the risks. Assessing the risks of violence. So that means you have to look at it objectively and see what's going to cause the most damage to the woman while she's trying to work, while she's doing her job. So this makes sense to me. What do you guys think? Personal protective equipment, safe workplace, taking times to assess the risks. Because ultimately they want the woman to be able to work. They just want the workplace to be good for the woman. That way she can do the best job possible. So does dog culture mesh with this type of thinking? Also, another question I want you guys to think about. Does it even have to be on the job? Because here's something that a lot of people will say is being a mom is one of the hardest jobs. So being a mom in society is a hard job, even if you're not getting a W-2 or working for an employer. So that's another question that is important for considering this. Workplace safety, as it's mandated by OSHA and other government organizations, that's fine to consider, but why do we only have to provide that at work? So now let's get into the dog culture part of it. I'm going to start off with the big one and end with the big one and give you guys some smaller ones in between. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Groomers Lung. And before we talk about that, let's quickly look at dog groomer demographics. So dog groomers are mostly female. In this study, the data they collected says that 93% of dog groomers are women and 7% are men. 66% of women want the job, or 34% of men say they want the job, but actually it's primarily women. So now I want to mention Groomers Lung. This affects women mostly because women are the ones that have this job. So this can cause emphysema, all kinds of allergic reactions. You can pass out. Anything that has to do with your lungs and your pulmonary system, anything in your body where you need to have oxygen, this has a huge effect on you. And it's not very talked about. The medical people, the science people, there's not a lot of information. And in most of these videos, these women talk about they found out about Groomers Lung by accident. It's very similar to breathing asbestos, or there's another thing called bird fancier's lung. It's basically from breathing this pet dander, and your lungs get screwed over because of it. I'll put this playlist in the description along with some other studies about it. But this largely affects women, and where is the job place safety for them? It looks to me like dog culture gets to harass and do violence on women and affect their health when it comes to Groomers Lung. Now let's look at another workplace that is dominated by women. Dog sitters. Dog sitters are often, and on a regular, timely basis being mauled. Up on the screen is Jacqueline Durand, a mother and son mauled by 4 pit bulls while they were doggy sitting. So where's the workplace safety? Why are dogs allowed to do violence on these women? And again, some people might say, well, this isn't an official job. This is just something that young women do in their spare time. And yeah, that's true. But remember what I mentioned earlier. These women are potential mothers. They have the job of just being part of society. Okay, next up, how about animal shelter workers? These are largely women as well. Animal shelter workers are often bit by police dogs that they take care of, other people's dogs that they take care of. They have their hormones ramped up because they're taking care of dogs. Women have a body and an organ system that when you put a human in front of them, they want to be a mom. But dog culture takes advantage of that. Dog culture is a predatory culture that takes advantage of women. Oh, you love to take care of little babies? That's the body and system that you have? They put dogs in front of them, and then the women pay the price. Many of these shelter employees are women. The large proportion of them are women. Mother and child bitten by shelter dog. Vet tech attacked by police canine. Animal shelter volunteer awarded $6.8 million after being mauled by a dog. These are all women that are being harassed by dogs and have violence done to them by dogs. So where's the workplace safety for these women? So how about just dogs versus women in general? Women and kids receive some of the worst attacks by dogs. For one, women are more frail. And before you go criticizing me for recognizing that women have smaller and weaker bodies, just remember, this blog that has been created by women for women, they recognize that as well. A woman has a different type of body that is not designed to do hard work and carry heavy things. So when these women are attacked by dogs, they have a less of a physical advantage. So again, dogs are predators on women. Oh, look, there's something that I can win in a fight with. I'll go attack that woman. This woman has undergone multiple surgeries to repair her leg in Seattle. If that was a man, he probably would have been a little bit stronger and had 1 or 2 less stitches, which really isn't my point. The point is that these dogs prey on women because women are physically weaker, and women are also more likely to fall in love with a dog just based on looking at it. Like, here's a pit bull that could probably tear my leg off, and they will baby talk it and call it a pupper and a little baby. So dogs are predators on women based on the body of the woman and based on the hormones of the woman. One that you might have heard of is Kyle Dyer, the female news anchor, bitten by a bully breed right on live TV. And guess what? There were 2 men holding that dog back during that time. So where is the workplace safety for these women? Did you know that Cesar Millan, famous dog whisperer, whatever, dog propagandist is what I would call him, his dog bit a female gymnast. Where is her workplace safety? You know that when they introduced Caesar's dog to that girl, that they said, oh, he's just a precious pupper. He's a pit bull, the nicest dogs you ever met. And then, well, now her career is lost because she was bitten by a dog. Where is her workplace safety? Where's the workplace safety for the UPS workers, the FedEx workers, the DoorDash workers, the food delivery workers that are attacked by dogs? Many of these are women. Many of the food delivery services for senior citizens are women, and then they get attacked by dogs. Okay, now that you've made it this far, here's the big one that I'll end this video with: veterinary suicide. Veterinary suicide is on the rise, and it's not just the suicide, because there's so many factors that come up to the suicide. These veterinary jobs are marketed to women. This is dominated by women. Women end up killing themselves or just end up having terrible problems in their life because They get this job thinking it's going to be precious puppies all day, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in their life. This guy right here, I'll put this in the description. He does a really good story about this, about how veterinarians have to deal with dog owners that are, excuse my language, but frickin' jackasses. They treat these veterinarians bad because dog owners get very upset about the prices of veterinary costs. And then the veterinarians have to get basically emotionally dumped on by the dog owners. And then they have to see the dogs suffer. They have to hear the pug dogs breathe and die. They have to give the shots to dogs that are like 15 years old that should have died 5 years ago. They have to watch obese dogs go through all kinds of nasty parasites and other sicknesses. So these veterinarians have to deal with so much nastiness. The veterinarian shops themselves are being taken over by big conglomerates. So they just become a place for you to go spend a bunch of money. They're not local people that actually care about like horses and goats. They're just people there to get money off of your sick dogs. And the people that end up paying the price is the female veterinarians. So that's a big thing. Their mental health, the people that they can be in society, is slowly being chipped away just so they can keep dogs alive for another decade, and just so they can deal with these irate customers that bring in their sick dogs. Customers that oftentimes bring in dogs that are like 20 and 30 pounds overweight and have been eating human junk food right alongside with the human for a decade or two. And so these dogs are sick. These dogs have all kinds of problems. These dogs have been hit by cars. These dogs have been bitten by other dogs. Problems that are largely created by dogs in the first place. And these poor veterinarian women, it affects them. And the fact that these suicide levels and other mental health issues are up, it proves it. And this is the big one I wanted to end with. So my question is, does dog culture provide? Does it provide the gender and safety at work? It seems to me like dog culture targets women and does everything wrong. Violence, harassment, death, feelings of suicide, relationship breakups. Those are all the things that come along with dog culture. Losing your children, losing your husband as a woman. So where's everybody at? Where are all the people that post up this meme? Where are all the people that say this?